Hi, this is Alicia Lamb doing my case study for the budget debacle. Throughout this, we found out that Mr. Byerly was hired on as a president of the school's foundation, and he was in charge of doing the fundraising to get new curriculum for supplemental curriculum for programs. He had the idea of hosting a raffle to cash where people would purchase raffle tickets, and then if their raffle was pulled, then they received cash. This is under gaming, and so when the police arrived, he was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor for having gaming practices without a license. The raffle for cash drawings are considered gaming. It's not the raffle itself. So schools can have raffle drawings. It's the cash part that made it a crime, a violation. And it's probably not supported by the school district's fundraising policy. That should have been checked by Mr. Santos before agreeing with Mr. Byerly about this. It would have prevented a lot of embarrassment, and it would have prevented a misdemeanor charge. Plus, the fundraiser should have been reviewed by the superintendent before being put into place. So the ethical issue isn't what the fundraiser was for. They were doing it to support the school. The ethical part came into the gaming practice. With this, as we raise money, we need to make sure that what the money is being used for is to provide equity among school district buildings and equity amongst the students. So all students should have access to the curriculum. It shouldn't be for one set group of children. Principal Santos is responsible for the failed fundraiser. He failed to review district policy and didn't seek approval. The foundation was trying to raise money for academic resources to improve student development, which is a good cause, but again, we used illegal practices to do so. And then to synthesize the facts. So if I look at this, Mr. Santos, the principal, Mr. Bradley, foundation principal, school community, students, teachers, local sheriff, board members of the foundation were all people involved. This was at Briardale Elementary School. It seems like a very large elementary school with 600 students, K through 5. Unknown, we don't know what the diversity population is. We don't know where the school is located. So that information in this instant really isn't too important. For the program, the district focuses on a basic skills curriculum. So the foundation was formed to make supplemental materials for that curriculum. And it also was used for arts and music programs that maybe the school district didn't have the money to support. So the budget debacle created a distrust among the school and the community. You know, when people give money and then there seems to be a problem, there's always that distrust and they're not going to be as willing to donate the next time around. The front page article definitely damaged the reputation of Mr. Santos and Mr. Bradley, even though they were acting in good faith. It also puts the district in kind of poor lighting because it makes the district look like there's a lack of checks and balances. Students and teachers have a huge stake in the resolution because the money was intended for them. So they should have be a part of the resolution process in this. The district superintendent, financial advisor, and the school board could review the district policy for fundraising. Maybe they need to make more guidelines or define terms a little bit better so an instance like this doesn't occur again. And they also need to look at how schools are receiving funds and who's getting the most money to bring in resources, because things need to be equitable in a school district amongst the schools so we can get rid of this competition thing. The options and consequences. So my first option was to meet with the school board and superintendent to ask for assistance in resolving the matter. Review the policy on who qualifies as a bonded employee. Do the foundation presidents? And if they are bonded, how are they protected? Discuss with the school board and superintendent on what happens to the funds that were raised since the money was collected through gaming practices. A consequence, the principal should receive a suspension and possible loss of his job for not following district policies. As far as him not being the one that held the fundraiser or took the money, I am not sure if a firing instance would be too drastic or if he could just be placed on probation. My second option isn't as long. And it is that just to allow the legal system to take control, with Mr. Barley being the one that hosted the event and he was the one being arrested. If he's not bonded, then the fault lies on him and he will have to, well, depending on how the money was handled, that he might have to provide restitution to the district. He will also have to resign from his job as the foundation president. The pros and cons. Option 1, support for the school district will prevent further incidents from occurring, reviewing policies, making sure that the guidelines for the foundation are in place. The con is that how long this is going to take. Option 2, the district is not held responsible for the incident if Mr. Barley is not bonded. Mr. Barley will be responsible for paying restitution to the districts and the families who donated to the school. The con, Mr. Barley loses his position with the school district and he has a misdemeanor charge on his record. So the best option, I think, would be that Mr. Santos will learn from the current situation, that he needs to check with district policies. This can also be a teaching point for the other administrators in the district and the other foundation presidents. The district has the opportunity to improve their handbook and make sure that it has definitions in what gaming practices are, what's legal, what's not illegal, and maybe what types of fundraising events are allowed and others that may not be allowed. So the implementation of this meeting, it's a lot of steps. But I would say that first, we need to check with the police department on the charges against Mr. Barley. Since no money had changed hands before the fundraiser was interrupted, what happens to the money and what charges stick? Second, meet with the superintendent to discuss the issue around the fundraiser. Third, develop a plan for future fundraiser opportunities. What is going to be allowed? What would be easier for the school district or for the school to raise money? And maybe we do a couple big things and a couple small things. So I think we need to build some guidelines around that. And review policies on raffle drawings and donations from outside vendors and how to handle school funds as far as putting them into separate accounts. Fourth, meet with the superintendent and school board to discuss any changes they have come up with or any ideas I may have. Fifth, we meet with the stakeholders, educators, and the foundation board to discuss the incidents, consequences, what it's going to look like moving forward. And the sixth is review all new policies with the foundation president. Also build in, if there's a foundation board, bring them in, review the policy with stakeholders in the building, and some parents that might be interested in having a fundraiser for the school, if they approach me as an administrator, that I review the policies with them so they're aware also, and then send those policies forward so we don't have another incident like this.